recorded. So, and there's the thing right there that pops up on your screen. It will be loaded onto the YouTube page for the Image Center sometime later this week or early next week. So you can always go back there and find it. On the registration page for Independence Amplified Maryland, there's always, if you scroll down far enough, you'll see a link always to get to where the archived sessions are. So actually, I'm just gonna, because we got a late start and I wanna give enough time, I'm going to just introduce our speaker today. Today we have Kristen Patterson, who is the Disability and Youth Services Coordinator at the Maryland Department of Labor. And she is going to be talking about, amongst other things, the American Job Centers and her role and some of the stuff that the American Job Centers and the Department of Labor can do for us. So without further ado, I am going to turn it over to Kristen.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for that lovely introduction. Everyone can hear me good. I am going to share my screen and jump right into the presentation. Can everybody see the PowerPoint? Great, great, great. It's a good thing to be in the office because I have my two screens. At home, when I'm at home, I only have one. So I'm able to see actually what I'm talking about as I'm talking. So that's often helpful. Nevertheless, I want to talk about our job centers. Down past this. So the Division of Workforce Development and Adult Learning coordinates Maryland's workforce programs, ensuring that businesses have skilled employees as well as individuals have access to employment and training resources throughout the state. Adult education, literacy, correctional education programs, as well as our beloved unemployment insurance are all a part of our division. However, UI is a little different. So I cannot answer any unemployment questions, but I can definitely get you in that direction if necessary. But the reason why all of those programs are centered in one division is it allows us to create a comprehensive system or a comprehensive workforce system. So we're focused on not only the job seeker, we're also focused on job creation and re-engaging individuals that have, for whatever reason, exited the workforce system. So across our state, we have 32, which are known as America's Job Centers. They're there to provide comprehensive services to both job seekers and businesses, basic and individual career services, and basic services provided by Wagner Pfizer's federally funded staff. I'm going to get a little bit into the difference between these Wagner Pfizer services that I'm alluding to versus the Title I services that are also offered at the America's Job Centers, and give a how-to or why they're two different things that you could encounter if you were to individuals to seek services at the America's Job Center. So the core services that are provided by Wagner Pfizer are free services that anyone can obtain by simply walking into our job center. Those include intake assessment, eligibility determination, career guidance, follow-up, labor market information, training provider information, and they're also designed to provide extra opportunities for assistance. These services, again, found in each county. Each county has an America's Job Center, and there are some areas that have more than one, hence why we get to 32. But these free services are provided by qualified professionals to assist with, again, training referrals, career guidance, job listings, and other employment-related services. Job seekers can come into the centers and utilize computers, phones, photocopiers, and fax machines. Over 97%, and the only reason why we're not at 100 is because we have just opened a couple of new centers that are still being outfitted. But at 97% of our centers do have some assistive technology where there are screen readers available. There are the color-coded keyboards, and a myriad of other things that would assist individuals that may have disabilities to be able to still utilize the technology that is available in the centers. So again, these are free of charge services. These services do not require you to fill out anything in order to access these services. You can simply walk into the center and say, I would like to use the computer, or I would like to find out about job listings in my area, and they would direct you to the appropriate person for these services. The other services that are provided which are governed by the local workforce board. And let me back up one step. The services that I'm talking about when it comes to the computers, the phones, the job listings, those are provided by Department of Labor staff. And so the person that you would meet with would actually be a Department of Labor employee. Title I services are provided by the local workforce development area and a separate entity. So they are not state employees. They are employees of the one-stop operator, excuse me, they used to be called one-stop, the American Job Center staff. And their job is, so if you meet with the labor, Department of Labor staff, and it is determined that you have a barrier to employment, they would then and can then refer you to the American Job Center staff, which would the first thing that they would perform is a eligibility assessment and then subsequent eligibility determination. Because the Title I services, in order to receive them, require this eligibility determination, which that is where you get into submitting documentation, and they will work with you to create an IEP, which in our world stands for Individualized Employment Plan, or ISS, which is an individual service strategy. The differentiation between the two, an IEP is done for adult services, ISS is done within youth services. And so if you need that additional level of assistance, again, that would also include if you go into the job center and you're interested in a training program. If you were interested, let's say, in pursuing a certification in heating, HVAC, heating, I'm not even going to try to unpack that acronym, or CDL or something of that nature, that is when you would be referred over to the Title I staff, because generally when we get into the space of financial transactions, so Title I services would then pay for you to attend that training, or Title I services would provide additional financial resources to do a internship or provide transportation assistance to and from an appointment position or something of that nature. We get into more of the financial transactions. That is when the eligibility determination has to precede those type of services. And so when you're thinking about barriers to employment, the purpose of WIOA Title I is to assist individuals that are low income. And so the first barriers to employment that an individual would have to provide documentation to support would be that they are indeed low income. That does encompass individuals that receive Social Security, individuals that receive any of the Department of Health and Human Services benefits, such as TANF or SNAP EBT, that encompasses veterans, that encompasses, on the youth side of the house, that encompasses young people that are parenting or pregnant, young people that are in foster care, or have any individual that has been involved with the justice system. Namely, on the youth side, of course, that would be juvenile justice, or if they were a returning citizen. So again, the differentiation is largely in, will there be a necessity to meet your employment goals of the center providing either training resources or additional supportive services in order for you to meet that I just had a meeting earlier with Department of Education, so my E's are interchanging themselves right now. We were talking largely about education, but employment goals. And so some of the features that the Wagner-Pizer staff, as well as the Title I staff offers, they'll create a professionally formatted resume and cover letter, assist with your job skills and setting goals and finding training providers, viewing available jobs, setting up a virtual recruiter. What that is once that you place your resume and information on the Maryland Workforce Exchange, it will automatically send you job postings and job matches that fit your skill set. You're able to track, they'll show you how to track your job search efforts. You can learn about the different services and benefits that you will be eligible for or potentially obtain. And then you can use the email system that is contained within MWE to contact employers and or your case manager. So the Maryland Workforce Exchange is another, again, it's a free resource that you can log into or have your participants log into and create a profile. It is, in my opinion, and I'm not biased, but in my opinion, one of the best sources to find jobs, because on MWE, those are the jobs that are being placed on there by our business services staff, which are Maryland labor employees. And so they are the jobs that are hiring. You're not going to necessarily find something on there that, of course, they're outliers, but you're not necessarily going to find something on there that's outdated or something that employer is not actually seeking to hire at that time. It's not just a rogue posting. These are actual employers that have been vetted in order to place those jobs on our Maryland Workforce Exchange site. We do have, again, our services are are dual facing. So there's the job seeker and there's the employer. And again, this is all done through Maryland Workforce Exchange, or MWE, where the employers are notifying us and letting us know that they want a specific skill set for a position, and then posting the job orders, and then finding potential candidates and the like that you see on the slide here. These are some of the services that, again, Department of Labor staff provides through the America's Job Center. The first is our Reemployment Opportunity Workshop. If this is where we do mesh a little bit with unemployment insurance, is that ROE, as we know it on our side, is a reemployment strategy that assists UI claimants identified as least likely to exhaust benefits before securing employment. They're most in need of services to assist with transition to new employment and participate in reemployment services such as job search assistance. This workshop includes finding new job openings, interview skills, resume development, negotiating salaries, and utilizing social media for reemployment. Again, this service is, again, particular to individuals that are currently receiving unemployment insurance. RESI, or Reemployment Services and Eligibility Assessment. This is a reemployment strategy that assists UI claimants identified as most likely to exhaust benefits before securing employment. This is where the individual will meet with a career coach, create a customized individual employment plan, labor market information, orientation to workforce services is available, assistance with their barriers to employment, and work verifications and eligibility review. Again, these services are particular to individuals who are receiving unemployment insurance, but it is almost in essence the services that are geared towards ensuring that that individual does not exhaust their benefits before they find another employment opportunity. There are trade services. Trade services do have a separate eligibility. One, it has to be as a result of a shutdown of an employer that has notified the department that they are seeking Trade Act benefits for their constituents or former employees. But if an individual is available for Trade Act benefits, they more than likely would be notified up front, and then would then know exactly who to come into the center to see in order to receive these services. So this is not something that someone could walk in off of the street and say, I would like to receive trade services. They would know and have received information as to who they need to see at the job center. But these are the services that Trade Act beneficiaries are able to receive through the job center. And again, this is the eligibility regarding that. They have to be totally or partially laid off. This is for trade services. Sales or production have declined. Increased imports have contributed significantly to worker layoffs. Again, they would be notified that they are eligible for Trade Act services. Rapid response. This is also at services that relate to when a business is shutting down. Our team will go out and provide representation to meet, even on the short notice, with companies that are planning to do potential layoffs or closings, and they will receive a presentation similar to this, letting them know the services that we provide to help shorten the time that they are between employment, working with them so that they get their unemployment insurance as expediently as possible, and then provide services to the business to see if we can perhaps even reduce the reasons for why they are experiencing the necessity of layoff. And again, that team goes out as necessary when they are notified that there is going to be a potential layoff or closing. Apprenticeship and training, which right now we are in the midst of Apprenticeship Week. And so there are a lot of programs going on across the state to acknowledge that. Well, there's one going on in Baltimore County today. But apprenticeship is job now. That's the biggest thing about that differentiates an apprenticeship program between any other job training program. An apprenticeship program is a job from day one. You are linked to an employer, you're linked to a training provider, and you complete your related instruction and you're on the job training, all the while working within a particular industry. At the job center, anyone in there, especially the labor staff, will be able to guide and direct an individual to how to find out what apprenticeship programs are available in their local area. You can also seek out that information through the Maryland State Department of Labor website. There's a huge tab on there that says apprenticeship. If you click on that, and if you're interested to see what's available in your area, there is a apprenticeship navigator on our website that will guide you to obtain that information. Disability services. So this is my wheelhouse. This is where I ensure, or I work to ensure, that our centers are providing accessibility to meaningful participation in the services provided at all of our job centers across the state. What I will say is there are centers that are more accommodating than others. And we're working to ensure that that's not the case, that as much as possible, there is a seamless provision of services throughout the state. And that's a lot of what I do, providing training and technical assistance to ensure that that is happening. One of the roles of my position is also to hear from individuals that are not having that experience, that are not able to access the resources that are available at our job centers, and trying to remediate that. That is where my position becomes a resource to individuals that may have had not the best experience in obtaining services. Or one of the things that we are working diligently on is eliminating this thought that just because we're partnered with DOORS, which is a mandated partnership under WIOA, doesn't mean an immediate referral to DOORS is the adequate service provision that an individual should receive when they walk into the job center. In working with our partners at DOORS and understanding their flow and their categories that they are currently servicing, we have learned that a referral to DOORS is almost a bad cycle to put someone in, because they aren't necessarily going to receive services from DOORS either. And so it is incumbent upon us to begin to understand that when a customer walks through our doors, that is our customer, to ensure that whatever their employment goals are, that is what we are to meet. And so we're rolling out training.
I can't sit long enough to like watch them usually.
Somebody got unmuted. That's okay. And so we are working with the Office of Deaf and Hard of Hearing, as well as we've been working with, I think someone mentioned NFB, National Federation of the Blind, to put together a training for our staff to help them to understand best practices and best service strategies when individuals with disabilities are coming to the center in seek of services. Youth services. This is the other hat that I wear here at the department. Youth service, the Youth Employment Program across Maryland works with young people ages 14 to 24 in order to fulfill their education goals and explore the world of work by providing educational support, leadership development, and work training. Point of note for youth services is that the youth services can be contracted out or provided by an entity other than the America's Job Center. So youth services may not be housed at the particular job center that one goes into. For example, in Baltimore County, they have a provider, which is CCBC, which is the community college in that area. Whereas if you are in Southern Maryland, in Charles, Calvert, or St. Mary's, if you walk into their job center, their youth services program is right there on site. And so it's different with youth services across the state as to who actually is the service provider. However, if you walk into the job center, they will be able to let you know who you need to go and talk to in order to find out not more about youth services, but to engage into youth services or receive that eligibility determination for youth services. We also have a migrant and seasonal farm worker program that we are responsible for overseeing. And that program is, again, to remove barriers and disincentives to individuals that are farm workers. Again, information can be provided about this program and about the services that an individual can receive at any of the America's Job Centers. However, they would refer you to the state monitor advocate who sits in Baltimore, a couple doors down from myself, if an individual is deemed eligible for those services. There's also what we call CSEP, or Senior Community Service Employment Program, which is available to job seekers ages 55 and older who are unemployed and meet the established low-income guidelines and the desire for opportunity, for training and employment. There is someone at every center that if an individual is interested in this program, they're able to get them through that eligibility determination and work alongside the program manager to get adequate referrals made to jobs that are specifically meeting the criteria that this program has in terms of placing individuals with nonprofit or government entities, limiting the number of work hours, and above the established, at the established minimum wage hourly rate. It's unsubsidized employment after the skills are attained. So there's the training assignment, and then those training assignments lead to these work placement assignments. We also have what's known as the POAC, or the Professional Outplacement Assistance Center. At the POAC is a more specialized and Department of Labor run job center, where at the POAC there's nationally certified career development facilitators, professional resume writers, and federal job search trainers. And they have a program called Jumpstart, where they are working with you to get yourself out there and have a presence, not just via the paper resume, but through electronic resumes, through LinkedIn profile reviews. They'll look at your LinkedIn profile and give you some tips or ways to improve your presence on that site. And they do a lot of alumni connections. So individuals that have gone through POAC training that are now employed or now entrepreneurs, they maintain a database of those individuals and use those as connecting points to link individuals to employment opportunities. There's the Maryland Reentry Program, and this provides employment assistance and referrals to job seekers that may have been, that are returning citizens. So we provide technical assistance, we provide ways to ensure that these individuals can still be federally bonded, information and assistance to also businesses as a dual-facing component of the Reentry Program. And there are veteran service. Veterans are a priority population at our America's Job Centers, and they have, if an individual comes to the job center and identifies themselves as a veteran, they meet with a different unit of service providers within the job centers, known as we call them leavers, the local veterans employment representatives, or if that veteran has a disability, then they would meet with a DVOP, and that DVOP would provide specialized intensive employment assistance to eligible veterans with significant barriers to employment who need help overcoming barriers, employment case management, access to a broader network of assistance, and again, the priority of service meaning that, again, when they come in, they are deemed automatically eligible for services, provided that they show their veteran status. And that is it. If there are any questions, I am happy to take those at this time. My contact information is on this final slide. Best way to reach me is via email, as I am out of the office a couple days a week teleworking, but always available via email. So thank you. Question.
Thank you so much, Kristen. That was a ton of information. I apologize to everyone. I forgot to remind people to put questions in the chat, or that there would be the opportunity for questions afterwards if you didn't want to use the chat. I don't see anything in the chat. I guess just to clarify, so I have a couple questions because it was a lot of info. And people are putting in there actually exactly what I was going to ask, which is, can we get a copy of all that information so that we can send it out to people who would want it? Because that was a very long list. So I see you're nodding yes and put yes in the chat. So thank you. And thank you, Chioki, for putting that in the chat for us. And then I guess the other question, I missed this. So does every American Job Center have access to, even if it's not on site, all of the programs and services that you just talked about? Or do they just have a way to get you connected to them?
So the only services on the list that I mentioned that potentially would be provided outside of the American Job Center would be youth services. The rest of the services are available at the job.
Good. Yes, can you send that to my email too also? My next one is also, can you get SSI with this too?
As a recipient of SSI, you are eligible for services.
Okay. Do you work with other companies like Doors and all those companies like that, or Shepherd Pratt?
So in the majority of our job centers, there is a Doors representative present because of the partnership that that exists between the Department of Labor and the Department of Rehabilitative Services. And so that is where it's important that the Doors representative and our job center staff work in tandem to ensure there's a duplication of services. So we don't want to provide you the same exact thing, but ensuring that if possible, we are complementing that, complementing the services that you're already receiving, or providing you additional services that Doors cannot provide to you, so that you can meet your employment goals.
Okay. Do you ever work with Shepherd Pratt?
I don't, because I don't provide services myself, but I'm sure, let's see, Shepherd Pratt is in Baltimore County, I want to say.
Yeah, and I'm also with Mosaic. They used to be Alliance. They deal with helping people with disabilities and getting them jobs and stuff, because I work for Giant in Pikesville.
Okay. Yeah, so both of those both of those entities could work very well with, again, coordinating the appropriate resources for you in order to, take your career or your career pathway to the next stage that you want to go. So they can work in conjunction with each other.
Anybody else?
Yes,
Question?
this is Imani. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Imani.
Okay, this is Imani Graham. I had a question. How many of your programs have time limitations on them, like the CSEP have a certain amount of time that you can be enrolled in the program, and do some of your other ones have those time restrictions as well?
None of the programs truly have a time restriction on them, provided that you are making meaningful progress towards your goals. So it's all based on the goals that you have identified. So for example, if you come in and you get enrolled into a 10-week training program, the expectation is that you're going to finish that program in 10 weeks. However, that does not mean you can establish an additional goal that would allot you additional time in order to achieve that one. So more than likely, you'll come in, and if you, let's take the training scenario, you probably establish a completion of training goal and a employment obtainment goal, meaning after I finish this training, I want to get a job. However long it takes for that to happen is fine with us, so long as that individual continues to make meaningful progress, meaning they're still meeting with their case manager, they're doing the job searches, they're going on the interviews, all of those things. So while there is no time frame, we do want to see continued progress towards meeting the goal.
Okay, because I know a couple of people that are enrolled in CSEP, and they are at certain locations throughout Baltimore City and County, and they've been told that those job opportunities expire after you've been in the program for 3 years. So that was why I was asking.
Okay. Yes. Again, there may be some nuances within CSEP for that individual, but in large in part, there isn't a time frame for services.
Thank you. Aaron, did you have a question? I thought I saw you.
Yeah, well, my question was answered, but I just wanted to mention my understanding is that, you're speaking of, I suppose, the Department of Labor here, but I just wanted to reiterate to individuals on the line and also to other sales staff that as much as possible, when we can connect to local workforce development centers, there are resources there that we can direct people to. Specifically in Anne Arundel County, I know that they have some career restart boot camps and some stipends specifically for people looking to get back into the workforce that you might not know about unless you have those relationships and are doing the work in communities. So just encouragement to get connected. And if somebody on this call specifically lives in Anne Arundel County and wants to know more about those programs, before the first of next year, 2022, let me know, Aaron Ashinghurst, and I'll put my contact information in the chat so you can reach out to me and we can get you connected. That's if you're in Anne Arundel County specifically.
Thank you.
That brings up a point of note as well. The services provided by each America's Job Center can be different because they have to provide services that speak to their local labor market. So for example, over on the shore, you'll find an economy that is tourism and hospitality based due to Ocean City. The maritime industry is an industry that is very prevalent on the shore. You would not necessarily find that over in Western Maryland, where there is a different local economy. And so you will also see those nuances in services based on the local the local labor market for a particular job center.
Thanks, Kristen.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have one question. Is there a central person that I can send the PowerPoint to so that everybody can
Heather.
receive it?
Yep.
Okay.
Send it to Heather. She'll
Kristen,
make sure it
yep,
gets to
I
everyone.
I just sent you an email asking if you'd send it to me and then I'll disseminate it to the participants.
Heather, is that you?
Yep.
Wow. So you got all my email. Did you go to the disability, to the thing? You didn't go to the autism more?
No, Keely, I did not. We're gonna have to we've got to wrap up our call today.
Okay.
Okay, so if there aren't any more questions, again, Kristen, thank you so much. That was, I'll be rereading it so that I familiarize myself a little bit better. And
again, I know it was a lot and it was quick. If you have additional questions, again, my contact information is at the end of the presentation. I am more than happy to answer any additional questions that may come up or address any concerns you may have about experiences that you've heard of. The more I know, the more I'm able to provide training and information to our staff that are out there in the field. And I just already sent the PowerPoint to Heather, and so she'll be able to disseminate that.
thank you. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
that. And I think Erin put her information in the chat. Do we have any, before we close out, any announcements, any public announcements? Oh,
Yes.
sorry, Heather, go for it. Yeah,
Yes.
you're in charge anyway, not me.
Oh, really? Okay. The Image Center is, we've been partnering with the Baltimore City Department of Health GoVax program, and we are hosting tomorrow night a community discussion primarily for people in Baltimore City who have questions about the vaccine, about getting the vaccine, about access, just generally kind of discussing informally questions that people might have about the vaccination process and the booster shots. I'm going to throw the registration link. It's free. It'll be on Zoom. We have, we have captioning, and we will have an ASL interpreter as well. So I hope that if you or any of your friends or family or neighbors that have questions about the vaccination process in Baltimore City, please join us. Let them know that this is happening, and please join us tomorrow night. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, well, I have one for some of you, actually for any of you. The Freedom Center is actually celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. And we are having a small anniversary celebration at our offices on Friday, December 10th. That is, masks are required, but because it will actually be here in person. We're gonna have a chance to talk about the Freedom Center, how it got started, where we've gone through the years, where we're headed. We would love to have anyone attend. And also, if anybody has stories that they want to share, we're putting together a little video presentation. So if you would be interested in sharing a story or just wishing us a happy anniversary, feel free to reach out to me so I can talk to you about how we would make that happen. I guess I should put my email in the chat. I'm so bad at doing stuff like that. So I will do that and hope to see some of you there. And more information will be coming out to people's emails shortly.
Oh, we had a great question from Hindley, who is here as the Bridges Help Desk, which is a great program if anybody has statewide. I'm going to plug it for the Image Center. They help low vision and blind students transition from high school into either careers or college. And but the next IM is going to be on Monday the 29th, and we will be featuring featuring Jennifer Eastman of the Maryland Department of Disabilities. I don't remember, somebody mentioned there was a specific topic. I don't know if anybody wants to jump in on that,
Hey,
but that's,
can you also think about getting some deaf people too also?
so if there's, I don't know if there was a particular topic from Department of Disabilities that Jennifer was going to be discussing. Oh, it was
I thought it was a reentry program.
I thought
maybe?
it was the police training program.
Or the police training program.
I don't know where Katie and Sarah had to probably jump off.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it should be another great program. I will be getting an email blast out about that.
Okay.
See that, Heather? Did you see that what I put in there? Yes.
I did.
Make sure you get in touch.
We got it, Shoki. Thank you. Okay. If there's nothing else, thank you all so much.